Hey, we live, boys. We live. The internet's out, so doing it on the cell phone. Internet outage. I'm not quite sure why, but hey, got the mister going for the dogs over there. Gotta keep them. And so I need to figure out a way to make the patio so we can throw the dogs outside so she doesn't have to watch them while I'm working, because it's a little bit cramped with them. So we got the pool over there, we got the mister over there, and I'm gonna get like a little cabana and so we don't, and a fan so we don't feel guilty throwing their ass outside. All right, now with that gator. Actually, I'm gonna go grab a soda. But yeah, so we made it. It's Friday. Stay. Did I get hit by the hurricane in Florida? Yeah, I'm still in Florida, but no, I didn't get hit by it. Typically, a lot of these hurricanes, so Tampa's on like the west coast of Florida, so a lot of these hurricanes don't really affect us most of the time. This one went and hit really just the sort of east coast of Florida and worked its way and demolished the Bahamas. Those poor Bahama people, man. They've just been getting pelted again and again and again and again. But yeah, no, we're good. We ain't even getting rain, really. But yeah, so exciting stuff. I am just sort of relaxing now, waiting for the internet to come back up, to be honest with you. Spend some time outside with the pups. If you guys haven't seen Boise in a while, or Gator, there. Hey, Gator. Who's that, Boise? Gator is 70 pounds, and he's been 70 pounds for about 2 months, so I don't think he's going to get much bigger. And then Boise is she's only about 5 months, so she's still got room to grow. And she's 33 pounds. She'll probably be about 50 in total. Cheers to you. We made another week, team. Yeah. So, anyhow, while people funnel in here with questions, hopefully, let's talk a little bit about what do we want to talk about? A little bit about what I'm doing, I guess. So, for a while, if you guys haven't noticed, my channel's been filled with live streams because I've been pretty much just working on a production web application I'm hoping to release nonstop, and that's been taking up a good portion of my time. But we're making some progress on it. All right, we got some questions. Can you talk about website security a little bit? All I know is how to upload stuff to WordPress. I don't know how to host anything securely without it. So, there's a couple different things. So security is one of those broad, sort of almost keyword things. Couple things. You have things like access tokens that make sure that, like, hey, you can access what you're accessing. API keys to make sure that you have the ability to use such things. You have things like cores, where you don't want people to have access to your resources. So it really just sort of depends what you're talking about when it comes to security. You have things like your security certificate. It's a very large subject. April asked me this question last week, and it's a very large subject. And to be honest, other than the things I listed, not something I'm super in depth. But yeah, there's quite a bit to be covered. Dylan, how the hell did you get your first dev job? It's tough out there. So the things that I recommend to you is to take the same strategy I did, which was apply frequently, apply consistently every day to every app, be willing to relocate, have a good GitHub, a good LinkedIn, a good resume, have projects, become the dev that they want you to be. So that's really what I suggest. And that's so typically when I do like my mentoring sessions, that's the first thing that we focus on, because that's usually where people are struggling the most. You want to take a short, sort of machine gun, 50 apps a day approach. No sniper roles, not for your first dev job. Having a good, clean resume is the best thing that you can do for yourself that a lot of people suffer with. Khabib tomorrow? I mean, it's hard to bet against a guy who's undefeated. But yeah, I think Khabib tomorrow. Khabib's gonna take it. Secretly hoping Dustin Poirier gets injured and Tony Ferguson slips right in. But I don't think that's gonna happen. Yeah, so to go a little deeper about the first dev job, the first thing you have to do is look at what technologies companies are hiring for. So when I started getting serious about applying for jobs, I looked at what it was that I was lacking, and how I found that out was simply by seeing what people are hiring for and looking in my area. So I noticed that one, I didn't know Git, two, I didn't know SCSS or like Sass and less, and three, I didn't have a front-end framework. And those were the three things that I started filling gaps in. And once I did that, I started getting more calls, started building projects in these things. And I had to make sure I understood asynchronous code very well. These are all items that I took the time and energy based off of what the job market demanded. What's going on, Jose? How do you transition away from WordPress when it comes to web hosting? Hosting is nothing more than really using somebody else's server. So you could use GoDaddy, you could do, what do people use, Blue Ocean, I think that's one. It really doesn't matter. You're going to use different tools like cPanel. Do you think it's easier if you land a full-time job, a job as a full-stack dev? Probably. I mean, you cross off more boxes than not. What other free sources did I use when I was learning how to code besides Free Code Camp? I used Free Code Camp, Codecademy, YouTube, and Udacity free courses. How many rounds of interviews should you expect for an entry-level web dev job in a medium/small company? It really depends by the organization. But typically, I would say the average interview, if I was to give like a simple answer, which this is, again, it depends by company, you're going to have a talk with a recruiter, you're going to have a phone screen technical interview, and then you might have a on-site technical interview, and that might be it. But typically, by the time you get to like large companies, you have a phone screen with the recruiter, you have a video chat / technical screen with somebody, then you have another technical screen, and then you have a cultural screen. But it really depends by the company. Have you gotten used to the Tampa heat? The Tampa heat's not that bad, man. So I'm from Southern California, so I just traded it in hot and dry for hot and humid. I can deal with it. These poor dogs, though, man, they're not ready. You keep shit in the bed in interviews. So one thing I would tell you guys is when you're in interviews, it is not the time to be shy. It is the time to be vocal. It is better to talk too much than too little. It is your time to sell yourself. It is your time to brag. That's what you're there for. You're there to show them that you're the shit and they should hire you. You're there to show them if you've never had any experience, it's only because you don't have any experience and you can do the job and they're going to get a deal on you. That's the idea. Any new things in the last 8 months in front-end web development? No, not really. I mean, new's a relative word, though, in a sense. How's April's coding journey coming along? Pretty good, man. She's been grinding it out. So one of the hard things that have been for me is I have had to spend less time doing my coding journey than April's, because she is now doing she's coding from 11 a.m. to about 8 p.m. at night. So I'm taking on her chores. I'm doing the cooking now. I'm doing the cleaning now. I'm I'm taking on some of those tasks to help out, and I'm running the errands, all that sort of stuff that you don't really think about too much, but that she was doing a lot of it so that I could focus on my career, so I could focus on YouTube, building courses, a podcast, a web app, whatever it is I'm doing. Now some of that time, take it back. About half of that time is, hey, let me see what I can do for you. But she's getting there, man. She's a week in. They're moving fast, man. They're first every day building a website, and they're doing Flexbox, CSS, HTML. I'm like, all right, cool. I dig it. Have you ever tried to develop film/3D animation? Basic stuff, nothing too crazy. Has your experience in the industry been as negative as Joshua Fluke? No, but I do have negative moments. I won't tell you that there hasn't been a time or two where I've come home and said, I think I'm just going to retire. Like, that has happened. I think that's just the nature of being an employee versus employer. So that is the nature of the beast. I think Joshua Fluke has had a particularly negative experiences. Not that he's wrong in his beliefs. I think he's actually quite right at times. But I think he's had particularly negative experiences because he's worked at startups. Do I ever get offered well-paying jobs in EU countries? No. Is April using any courses? So she prepped a lot with some courses online, a book, and also free code camp. If you had to coin an alias that shows off your web development ability, what would it be and why? What does that even mean? Can you elaborate? April is doing Lambda School. Like tech lead? Coding God, son. Coding God. Yeah. I could just go tech leads route and be like, senior engineer. What's it? See? And then when I get promoted, team lead, tech lead, senior tech lead, director, senior director, CTO, and just keep changing my channel name. Oh, man. It's kind of a trip, though. Like, I was talking with April a little bit, because we're planning for our future, right? Gator, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm going to be a good puppy. But yeah, so we're planning for our future, and we're just thinking a little bit, looking back about how much life has changed. Like, not only do we have these two wonderful dogs, but like, look, we got a backyard. I work full remote now for the most part. I've had multiple good job offers in the past, and we got money in the bank, no debt minus the house, and it's such a surreal feeling at times where I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it's a hey, what's going on over there? You alright? Stop eating dirt. But look at those two troublemakers. But yeah, man. Yeah. I have good friends in the industry. One guy runs a small software firm, but I'm scared to holler at them because I'm not good enough yet. At what point do I just nut up? I would say, see if you can just get started. If you have the ability to do an internship, even if it doesn't pay, go in, start working with the goal of working there or elsewhere, or getting a very low-paying job. If they paid you minimum wage and you got dev experience, that'd be worth it. See if they can do something like that. They like to eat the They look for grubs in the dirt, so they like chew on rocks and shit. They're fucking my backyard up. Is 42 coding schools that like coding boot camp in the middle of nowhere that allows you to teach yourself? What am I doing? I'm in the backyard, man. What are you doing? How do you approach developers for job opportunities without sounding needy? You look for ones that are looking for candidates. Reach out to them with that link and say, "Hey, I think I fit a good description. I'd love to send you my resume, and see if I get a reference." How to convince a boss to use new technologies if he is a senior, I'm a junior, and he's afraid to work with new technologies because he doesn't know them and will not be able to help. My suggestion is not to, and spend your effort on learning them and going working someplace where they do know them. And you are going to get better. So. How do you get recruiters to notice you? Well, a lot of recruiters will just find you on LinkedIn, and so you have to do things like put that you're open to offers, put that you are your skills that are in. So there's a skills section that they'll search and find you by. Put that in there. Get a nice LinkedIn. Get references on there. All that sort of stuff. Put what cities you're open to relocating to. That's how you get recruiters to notice you. Great to see me outside. I don't go outside much, man. It's bright out here, too. It's too bright. Do I play any games? Not so much anymore. I'm more interested in watching esports than anything else. I play board games more often than not. Last weekend we played some board games. And, dog's soaking wet. So I play board games more often than anything else. Occasionally I'll play a good RPG, old Super Nintendo game, or there's a game that comes out. The last game I played was God of War. But yeah, I don't really have time for board games. A lot of my energy right now has been spent on building up my career, building passive income, saving money, making money, and sort of planning for the future. So, future being investment property. Future being being able to relocate eventually. Future being progressing my career, saving up to buy a second house, all that sort of stuff. If I had to recommend only one of my courses, which one would it be and why? So I'd really recommend my latest course, the 100 Front-End Interview Technical Question Challenge. The reason for it is it's going to introduce you to 100 different things that can help make you a better front-end developer, and it's also, coincidentally, 100 of the most common interview questions that you're going to get asked. So it's going to be the one that for $10, which you can use the link in the description below, that you can go and actually get a tangible return because it's designed to help you with those interview questions. How did you deal with loneliness when you break up with your girlfriend? So when April broke up with me, is what you mean, on Christmas? Did I mention that? Did I mention that? 5 years ago or so, when April broke up with me on Christmas. I think it was the day after Christmas. I don't remember. So how did I deal with it? Well, the first month or two, I don't know. This first month or so, I just angry and sort of excited, to be honest. You're like, hell yeah, I'm single again, yeah. That's how my brain works. Hell yeah, yeah. You try to hype yourself up, right? Yeah, man. And then sort of reality sinks in, and then for me, most of the time, I just took that effort and I put it into something that was going to make me much happier, and that was development. And so I really focused hard on that. I would also recommend working out. That's something that I've been really bad with when I've been in a relationship and better when outside of, but I would highly suggest it. If I'm doing a career change, should I make a new LinkedIn? I would say modify your LinkedIn to reflect your career change. Things like maybe you already have a position working for yourself or as an internship and have that as your header and all that sort of stuff. How do you change your LinkedIn to do a career that's not related to your employer? That's a little bit harder when you need a LinkedIn because your employer is on there. What I would say is, start filling out those things. Don't maybe change your job title or anything like that, and just do the same stuff we mentioned without changing your job title. Start going to meetups, meeting people at those things. Meetups one of the best ways you can do it. Our storms, yeah, I know, man. Look, I told April that this is the last year I'm going to be out of shape, and I mean it. I was supposed to get in shape this year, and I dropped the ball, but April and I are going to have kids in about 2-3 years, and I'm gonna not be that dad that can't carry his kid around. So it's in the plans. Have I tried the new AWS challenge from Udacity? Oddly enough, no. I did a sponsored video with them, and it's pretty cool stuff, but I haven't actually got the time to do it yet. When are you going to show us your tenants? Probably never. When people rent rooms from me, there is not the contingency that they're going to be up on my YouTube channel. Matter of fact, I'd probably scare people away. That's another thing about saving up for the future and postponing, the now for the future. Is like, I make a ton of money compared to where I was at, without a doubt. And yet I still rent out 2 of my rooms to take my $1,880 mortgage down to $550 or something like that. $580. Working out for 2 years. I've been working out the old brain and bank account muscles, so that's basically it. All the other muscles have gone down the old tuberino. But I do need to get back in shape. How do you look for jobs while employed? Does it raise red flags with your current employer? How would they know? And if you get a better offer, how do you play it with your current employer? Oftentimes, I used to say be open to accepting counter offers, and you should be, if it's just a money thing, but usually it's more than just money when you really think about it. But just take the offer or negotiate it. Do you think building games like Tetris or Mario with JavaScript could really make you a better dev or better just spend some time on more web dev projects? I think all of it's good, but you might have more practical projects that might be able to appeal more to certain companies. Sometimes you're dealing with non-technical people, and so like, oh yeah, you built a web game, that's cool, but we built, e-commerce, man. How hard is it to find the second job? Not very. The hardest thing you will ever have to do is get that first dev job as a software developer. Very nice, Professor. Besides retiring early, what's your biggest drive currently? I mean, I guess it's what I want to do with my retirement early. My biggest driver is to be able to pursue my passion projects 100% of the time. My dog is literally chewing on a rock. And he's loving it. You see it? Chewing on a rock. See it? Chewing on a rock. Why is it so much easier to get your first job? Well, because experience is king. That's why. And once you're able once you're able to prove your worth, it's much. So instead of you having to say, "Hey, look, I'm working on side projects for free," you can then say, "Look, I've actually been paid to do this professionally, and I have X amount of years of experience." And you have to understand, to most people, experience is all that matters. How do I feel about Bootstrap? You know how I feel about Bootstrap, man. I just got that like 30 minutes ago, so I'm glad they're using it. But do I still have to do whiteboarding questions, etc. if it's a second job? Yeah, those things don't necessarily go away. Although I will say that as I've been progressing more and more in my career, I get less and less whiteboarding questions, except from certain types of companies. Sort of the modern, sort of FANG type companies, the sort of newer tech companies, they love those questions. Other companies stay away from them. They'll ask you more architectural sort of decisions and higher level stuff. You could always build niche websites to make passive income or freelance. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm going to be doing, but I don't why. So here's the thing is it's going to take me quite a bit. If you were to add all my PTO, let's talk numbers right now, because you're like, oh, just freelance, just build niche websites. Okay, you're not wrong, but freelancing is not something I want to do per se, because I like the stability, and building niche websites, I like that because it's a one and done. So part of the reason I like sort of building courses and YouTube is I build it and it's out there, it's done. I build it, it's out there, it's done. And it requires little to no effort to maintain to a degree. Lesser effort. And so you say, okay, Dylan makes $115,000, has about 19% in bonuses. We'll say that puts him about $135,000. Then he has healthcare. Then he has 22 days PTO. Then he has a couple other benefits. We'll say that in total, my total compensation is like $160, $170. So going freelance for $170,000 a year when you have limited freelancing experience, or do what I'm doing and build up passive income streams while you're able to collect this check and build and do those niche websites, do those side projects, and get yourself to where you are currently and go from there. But to just transfer one out for the other, you'd have to be willing to take a very large pay cut, as well as remove yourself from the equation entirely. So one reason that I don't work for myself is I do want the resume experience. I want at least 5 to 8 years of resume experience before I take a year off or 2 years off, or if I even do that, because if it doesn't work out, maybe I do have to go back to work. If it doesn't work out, maybe I do that. So you have to sort of just weigh the pros and cons, man. It's just a numbers thing. Architecture, embassy kind of stuff, and more mid to senior. Yeah, talking about solid, REST, all that sort of stuff. Will self-taught or not turn into a book and courses eventually? Who knows, man? Nothing yet, Alex? I'm sorry to hear that. How old am I? I'm 31 years old. Yeah, here's the thing. Things are going really good, man. I'm building a course for LinkedIn. I have my own courses. I just leased some content to another platform. We just dropped the podcast. We got the YouTube channel. Things are going well. I got no complaints, man. I'm able to save a third of my income right now and all this other stuff. Life is good, man. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you know the algorithm which best suits the task, but start solving tasks without using it? Why would I solve a task if I knew the best one and didn't do it? I personally prefer Angular. It's just a preference. Doesn't really matter. I work in any framework. Oh no. God, it's hot out here. Gator, come here. I shouldn't have done that ball. Ow! Oh, you want to say hi? You want to say hi? Come here, Gator. Enough with the ball. No more. Sorry, buddy. That's my fault. Oh, man. I'm gonna go take a walk. Have I ever used a clicker to train them? No. I use the old stick technique. The old carrot and the stick. No. April trains them. I'm not very good with all that sort of stuff. I don't have the patience. I just let them do whatever they want. Hey, your baby girl. Oh, you cute puppy, huh? You cute puppy, huh? You cute puppy, huh? Stay. Oh, man. Go take a walk. But yeah, I don't really have too much of a preference to do freelance. I'd much prefer to build niche websites and see how much money I can make. What did you do with the pups when you guys worked? April took care of them. She hasn't been working for quite some time, really. It's a beautiful town. It's a little gated community. Keep out the ruffians. You know, those uneducated folk without college degrees. Only us educated folk. So April took care of them. Since we've been in Florida, she hasn't made too much money. And so at some point I told her that she didn't need to have a job anymore. so she could just take care of the house and the dogs and study and whatnot. And so right now she doesn't work at all. I need to hit that comedy stand. Maybe. Yeah, I mean, so here's the thing: is like, all jokes aside about college degrees, and obviously for those of you who don't know, I don't have one. I jokingly say when people ask me to describe myself, like recruiters, hey, can you tell me a little bit about yourself? I say I'm a proud 2-time college dropout. But at the end of the day, one of the things that makes software development unique is it gives you the ability. It gives you, because of the skill set, you have the ability to actually prove that you can do the job. That's why we have technical interviews. So I think one of the hardest parts of being a software engineer is the technical interview, but it's also, it makes it one of those items that you can get your foot in the door, because all they care about is, can you do the job? And can you do it well? Can you do it fast? Can you do it as part of a team? The HR firewall is rough, but here's the thing is, it's changing based on the company, because, I mean, it's a hard thing, man. R Storm says, I don't have a degree either, Dylan, but followed your steps, man, and it worked. R Storm's got a job. How does a oh shit, my battery's dying. Oh, I got time. I got 9%. That's good. I thought we were at the 2%. How does a self-taught know when to start first job hunt or keep practicing hard skills? The best thing I can tell you is start applying early on. See how you do in interviews. And you'll start figuring out where you stand really quick. And you'll start figuring out, when you don't get any calls, where your skills are. And shout out to the homie Alex saying you can get the 100 front-end technical question course in the description below for $9.99. See, that's how you get modded. But we modded you last time you did that, Have to hashtag shameless sellout. Not bad though, nice little lake area, huh? April hates taking a walk over here. At the wrong time of day, you just get bit up with mosquitoes. It's not bad though when it's nice and cool out. Yeah, I have this little electric scooter I bought, so it's like, basically it's ground up seashells. It's kind of hard to see. I take my little electric scooter over it sometimes. How can you increase your chances with getting an interview? Oh my god, that's just 10 cents a question. What a deal. Yes, and if you buy now, it includes a free bonus section where it gives you tips and tricks to do during the actual interview. That's a true story. But yeah, that's part of the course too. How to increase your chance to get the interview? Just be prepared. And honestly, here's the thing is, stop worrying about single interviews. What I want you to do is fill out so many apps that you just keep on getting interviews. Don't worry about a single interview not working out. You don't have time to think about a single interview for your first dev job. You need to do a mass approach. If you have a good app idea, can you get it done collaboratively on GitHub? Yeah, you can, but why not just do it yourself? Nope, spam your resume and cover letter. Paying that Fight Pass money? God. That'd be pretty sweet. I could use some extra change. But yeah, man, I think we gotta put our money on Kaboom. Who else is on that card, man? I can't remember any of the other fighters. Let me think, who else is on that card? I mean, you don't really need anybody else. It's Khabib time, baby. Oh man. I mean, you can't vote. You can't bet against the guy who is you can't bet against the guy who is undefeated, right? This just doesn't make sense. Should I go for internship first? I need something for the summer. Go for internship, job, whatever you can get, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, could Poirier do it? Yeah, man, it's MMA. Anyone can do anything any day of the week. How likely is it? I mean, I wouldn't bet against someone who's 27-0. It's like anything else. How's it going, Jordan? Dude, the craziest thing is you hear little critters running in these bushes. And just one of these times, I swear to God, an alligator's gonna come for me. Barboza? Eh. Yeah. Think Khabib's carrying that card if all you got coming with me is Barboza. Although I was hearing that Masvidal and Diaz were gonna fight, but now they're in negotiations, so it sounds like they're gonna try to set Masvidal up with somebody else. How much of the job description should you apply for? I always tell people about 60%. There's some things you're gonna have to know, but about 60% is good. Yeah, I don't know why you guys get yeah, I don't know why you guys get dicked in the UK on pay. It definitely happens though. Oh man. How did I overcome my last burnout? Sort of the joke's on you, man, because I'm sort of in a constant state of burnout. Does that make sense? Where, like, let me put it this way. Have you ever seen Dragon Ball Z? So, the Cell Saga. In Dragon Ball Z, the Cell Saga, they go in, they become Super Saiyan, and when they go into the time chamber, right? They go into the time chamber, and they come out and they're in Super Saiyan form, acting all natural, no big deal. Vegeta's very confused. He's like, why are they acting so normal? You know, shouldn't they be very angry? Shouldn't they be out of character? But what they did while they were in the time chamber, and this enormous amount of time passed, is they stayed in that state as long as they could until it felt natural. So, to your question is, how did I go about feeling, you know, overcoming my state of burnout? Is I just never left. I am in a consistent state of burnout, and I have learned to not let it bother me. So you let your normal state become burnout, and you learn how to deal with it. Because what's going to happen, man? Life is stressful. So here's sort of the point I'm trying to make is life is stressful. Whether it's your job, because you got a shitty boss, or you got bad deadlines, or you got whatever. Whether it's your relationship not going as smoothly as you want, whether it's your money's not right, whether it's your family's doing stupid stuff, you are going to be burnt out, and you're going to be overran, and you're going to be tired to such a degree that I have just learned that. So April will ask me questions. I'll be dead in death mode, but I still can do my job because I tell you guys, until you can do this in your sleep, then you're not quite ready yet. Like in terms of like where you need to be, you should be able to do your job without even having to write a line of code for the most part. And that's a hard place to get to. So how do you get to there? Well, you live in a constant state of improvement, and burnout. And is it healthy, was R. Stormson. I would say it's very healthy pushing your limits, and it's very healthy pushing yourself to a point where you can overcome such things. So to sum it up, do I get burnt out? Yeah. Am I burnt out? Always. So there's no way around working the schedule I have without being burnt out. I put in 40 to 45 hours a week at my job. Every morning I put in an hour in the morning from 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. I put in an hour in the morning working on side projects. After work, I work on building a course, recording a podcast, the YouTube channel, although I haven't put as much time into the YouTube channel the last 6 months. Developing a course, updating my resume, whatever it is that I'm doing, something that's always career focused. On the weekends, I do it harder. And so you can't grind like that and not expect to be burnt out. So instead of trying to overcome, be like, I'm burnt out, I've decided to embrace it. And once you realize what it is and what it's going to be, and it's the surprise of a lot of things that really unravels people. So like, if you're on a bad project at work, as long as you understand it's a bad project, as long as you understand that maybe your business is making choices they shouldn't be making, like as long as you're on the same page mentally as to what the situation actually is, it's much easier to overcome that. So I have accepted that I'm living in a constant state of burnout because that's what it requires when you say, and now we're going on 4 years where I've said to April, I'm going to work every day for 5 years and see where it gets me. And so I've been doing that every single day for 5 years. When I was grinding through free code camp, was I taking notes? I had sticky notes on my computer. That's about it. I did have a whiteboard and stuff like that. But yeah, and that's why I tell you guys, is like, how do you get a dev job? Code every day, 3 to 4 hours a day until you have a job. When you're putting in 3 to 4 hours every day until you have a job, guess what? You're gonna fill out apps because you're getting tired, but you're gonna push through it if you do what I tell you to do, which is 3 to 4 hours a day, every day until you have a job. Once you have a job, great. Until then, 3 to 4 hours a day, every day until you have a job. Doesn't matter what happens in your life. Doesn't matter that you have kids. Doesn't matter that you're getting married. None of that shit matters. 3 to 4 hours a day until you get a job. And you'll stop wondering like, oh, I wonder if I'm job ready. And you'll say, you know what, man, I've been doing 3 to 4 hours a day. Let's go find out if I'm job ready, baby, because I'm burning out. I'm in a constant state of burnout, and I want to get out because I worked hard, and now it's time to get paid. That's the idea here. So, you know, yeah, I'm not telling you to miss out on sleep. I'm just telling you what I did. Do I do 3 to 4 hours a day nowadays? No, I mean, between the hour in the morning and about 2 hours after work, about 3 hours a day on the weekends more. But that's because I have different goals now. It's hard to build passive income streams. It's not an easy task. It takes a lot of upfront work to generate passively. So, yeah. Should you build up to that? Not really. You should just do, man. All right, one more walk back, and then I think it's time for me to go inside. I'm sweating profusely out here, but I'm trying to do my hour. Hopefully the internet's back up. Yeah, and what you'll find is that you start doing different things. You start experimenting. You start going to meetups. You start figuring, because what's going to happen is you do 3-4 hours a day. You're going to start hating what you're doing in different parts of it. You're like, dude, I can't do any more algorithms. Great, do a project. I can't work on this project anymore, Dylan. Great, watch a video. Dude, I can't watch any more videos, Dylan. Good, go do an algorithm. Oh, I can't do any more algorithms, Dylan. Go to a meetup. By the time you got to meetup, you're ready to go back to projects, you know? So, every day until you have a job, you have to sacrifice This is part of it. We are reprogramming your brain. This is something I tell April all the time is, listen, everything that you did to this point had nothing to do what you're doing from this point on. Okay? There is a line drawn in the sand, and we went over that line, and now we are all in. There is no going back. We are all in, and to do that, we have to reprogram our brain. We have to be able to think differently. We have to be able to sacrifice. We have to be able to take challenges. We have to be able to problem solve. So that's what we have to be able to do. We have to be able to have the initiative to do this on our own. And it's hard. Not going to be hard. We have to be able to say, I'm burnt out. It doesn't matter. I'm tired. It doesn't matter. You don't think I'm tired? You don't think I'm tired? You know what I did this morning? I watched Traversy's Media's 30-minute video on MailNode. I had to send emails over Node for a project that I'm working on. That's what I did. I woke up at 6:30. I'm up there watching that, man. So, you think I want to be here right now? No, I don't. It's hot out, man. I ain't got no internet, but I made a commitment to myself and the YouTube channel that my goal to give back to the community is 1 hour a week. That's it. 1 hour a week, AMA, promoting software, making sure that you can, so I can help people out like me, man. Because life is good. Life is real good. You know, sometimes I'm so burnt out that I forget how good and how much it's changed in recent years. Because it's hard to sit there and be like, yo, man, all I'm thinking about is the next step, because that's all I'm thinking about. It's hard prepping for that and be mentally there, because when you are so focused about what's next, you don't necessarily appreciate what's here. That's hard at times. But you have to be focused on what's next. And to do that, you have to not give a shit that you're tired. You have to not give a shit that you're burnt out. You have to not give a shit that your boys are going out and your girls are going out on the weekends having fun and all that sort of stuff. It was like, homeboy that, I'm forgetting, Mr. Lopez in here, that went from a dishwasher to a junior dev, went and 4x'd his income. 4x'd his income. And his buddies are like, man, you just got lucky. Ain't no fucking luck about it. The guy, no doubt, grinded. You don't 4x your income with luck. He grinded. His boys went out, he stayed in. His girl's like, hey, let's go out and spend money and do all this. He said, no, baby, come over. Let's hang out, and I gotta work on stuff. You know, he woke up early, worked after work. You know, when you're a dishwasher, you got more than one job. You're grinding, no doubt. You go from dishwasher to junior dev. None of this stuff happens by luck. It's calculated decisions and sacrifice to get there. So, is it hard? Yeah, man. Will you be able to do it? If you do every single day, 3 to 4 hours a day until you get a job. Are you going to be burnt out? Yeah. How do you not get burnt out? By not giving a shit that you're burnt out. So, that's how you do it. So, am I burnt out? Absolutely. Do I have any plans not to be? Not for at least another year, because I told you I'm going to work every day for 5 years and see what I can do. Is that healthy? I don't know. I can only tell you that I went from making $12,000 a year in 2015 to about 150 this year and probably close to 170 next year. And who knows the year after that. And money's not everything, but the level of burnout I sacrificed to be able to pay my rent,